All right, Derbyites, welcome to our very first Survivor Slugfest. We're going to try to do this every week throughout the season. This is season 29. Rob, 29.
Oh my God. 29, really? Has it been that many?
It does. I feel like I've been saying that for the past 5 years. Like, oh my gosh, it's season 19 already, season 20 already, and it just keeps building, building,
Yeah.
building. But we
I
love this
just
show. So,
we love the show. And that means next season's going to hopefully be a real big one, 30. I mean, that's a milestone and a half. But that means it must have been on 15 years or something to that effect, which is
right,
amazing, really.
right. And regarding season 30, I was at the Survivor finale last year, the season 28 finale where Tony won. And I talked to some of the CBS people. I'm like, are you guys planning something special for season 30? They didn't know yet. So I wish I could give you some scoop, but they don't know. So I mean, they have to do something special. Bring back, some. What they should do actually is try to get all of the past winners and runner-ups and just call it like the best of the best.
Yeah. Yeah, I love when they do stuff like that. But speaking of, this season is they're going back to the blood versus water theme, which I'm really excited about because the last time they did it, I thought that was just one of the best seasons of Survivor ever.
Mhm.
So I've got really high hopes. What do you think? Have you got high hopes with this one?
I do. The one difference though is that last time they brought back some of our favorite contestants and their family members, but this time it's all new people. We have 9 teams, 18 people total, and it's all new people. So
Yeah.
I'm curious to see if we will like it as much, not knowing anyone.
That's a good point. But given that it's all new people, we can really now just sink our teeth in, so to speak, and just start to work out who we're going to like and who we're going to hate. And speaking of, why don't we go through each of the contestants? There's a really fantastic photo gallery on Gold Derby. You should all click on it and go through each of the photos to familiarize yourselves with who is who, so that you can start making your predictions. But Marcus, you've done a bit of research. Let's go through each of them, and you give us your 2 cents about each of them. So, firstly, we've got Wes Nail. He's 23 from Louisiana. What tell us about him?
He was actually my early pick to win once CBS announced all of the contestants. He actually reminds me, just looking at his photo, he reminds me of Derek on Big Brother. If people are watching Big Brother, and Derek is just this complete, dominating force. But when I watched some of the clips that CBS has, I wasn't as impressed with him as I thought I would be. But I get anything could happen. You never know who can win Survivor.
Yeah, and you always seem to have on each Survivor season, I'm generalizing now, but you always seem to find like the kind of slowish country boy from the South who is mild-mannered and he's really down to earth and salt of the earth, and yet he could surprise. So let's keep
Right,
him in mind. He's obviously going to be a physical threat.
right.
So just clicking through, we then have his father Keith, and what do we think about him? Similar?
Similar. They are both firefighters, and I think there are actually 3 firefighters this season. So Wes and Keith both are going to be really, really likable, which could hurt them if they make it pretty far in the game. People aren't going to want to bring them because they seem to be really likable people. I don't know if they're going to be
Yeah.
the game players though.
Right, exactly. Now, moving on, we have the twins, Nadia and Natalie Anderson. Now, some people will probably recognize them, right?
Yeah, they were on 2 seasons of The Amazing Race. They were very, very polarizing people. People in my family just I hate these girls, but I love them. They're the twinnies. They are. It'll be interesting because on Amazing Race we saw them together, working together, and now what Blood versus Water does is it separates family members under each tribe. So we've never really seen Natalie or Nadia, as individuals. So that'll be something kind of exciting to
Yeah.
watch.
Yeah. Okay. So then we have Missy Payne, 47-year-old, and she is with her daughter, Bayla. Is that correct? Yes, Bayla Wilson, who's 20. They're from Tennessee. They don't look terribly interesting to me at this point. What do you have to say about them?
Well, I kind of agree with you, but then I watched the videos on CBS, and Baylor is my new pick to win. And let me tell you why. She says something to, I think it's either Jeff that's interviewing her or Parvati. the previous winner, Parvati, who does all the great CBS interviews.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah, she is. Baylor told her that she's 20 years old, but she feels like she's 30 because of everything she's had to do in her life. Her mom is 3 times divorced, and they're basically, even though it's mother and daughter, they're basically sisters because they're so close in age. But Baylor is really funny. She's really endearing, and the age might hurt her. A lot of the winners of Survivor are in their 30s or 40s, and she's only 20.
Wow.
But right now, she's my pick to win. But let me remind everyone, last year, my pick to win was Garrett. And Garrett was either first or second eliminated. So I was terrible last year. Yeah.
Well, last year I had... but you know what, Marcus? Let's be honest. You won the damn thing, okay? You were so good at Survivor predictions. I am just going to do whatever you do. Every week, I'm going to check out what is Marcus predicting, and I'm just going to follow suit. Because you were... I mean, I know this because I was writing the articles, and I was like, here we go again. Marcus Dixon is still in the front. So, we're very proud of you that you're able to win that. You are absolutely the guru about Survivor. So, I really want to hear about what you have to say. Now, let's talk about Reed Kelly. He is now in front in our predictions. He's right at the top with 15-2 odds to win Survivor. He is one of the two, the gay guys, the couple. The other one's Josh Canfield. They're actors from New York. Tell me more about them. They look kind of interesting.
Yeah, they are. They're going to be really, really likable. Jeff Probst actually said, and I don't know if he's just saying this because it's the new season or whatever, but Jeff Probst said that this is one of his favorite couples in Survivor history. So take that how you will. I think they're really, really likable. They're going to make good TV, basically.
Good. And they're going to be better than the other gay couple that we had. I'm especially talking about Colton from the other Blood versus Water. He was a horrible, horrible guy, and hopefully these guys will erase that memory.
Yeah, everyone kind of hated Colton, but they all loved his boyfriend, Caleb. Unfortunately, Caleb passed away in the past year. Very tragic. Everyone just loved Caleb, and it's very, very sad what happened.
Yeah, very, very sad. The next guy is John Mish from Michigan. He's 26. Again, he kind of looks a bit vanilla to me. I don't know. What do you think?
Right. I don't really have a thought on him and his girlfriend, Jacqueline.
Jacqueline, yeah.
They're like the Barbie and Ken of the season.
They're the pretty people, yeah. There's always a pretty couple.
Sometimes the pretty people are the most boring ones, but... That's right. You never know.
Well... That's right. Okay, let's continue. I'm just clicking through this. We then have... sorry, my computer's just decided to slow down. Okay, with that we have the busty Julie McGee. She's wearing a very skimpy bathing suit. What do you have to say about 34-year-old Julie McGee from Georgia?
She is a model. She's the owner of a spray tan business. She's not the kind of person that usually does well on Survivor. I mean, she's going to be afraid of worms and afraid of bugs, and she's going to complain about the heat. But her boyfriend... He looks like
cannon fodder. But yeah, John Rocker. Now, a lot of people will know him, right? Tell us more about him.
Yeah, he is... Survivor's really good at making villains, but this guy is coming into the show as a villain already. People really, really hate this guy because a few years ago, he made a lot of anti-foreigner comments, anti-gay, he's basically a racist. He doesn't seem to be he seems to like the fact that he's a racist.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Google John Rocker, his comments that he made in Sports Illustrated. He was basically asked, he's a baseball player, and they asked him, would you ever go play for New York? And that's when he went off, like saying it's like a third world country because you have all the black people and all the gay people.
Wow.
It would just hurt your soul to read something like that. And I don't know.
It does.
I mean, you get why he's on the show, right? Because it's controversial. Yeah. Are you interested at all in seeing this guy being redeemed?
Well, that's what I was about to say, because I have the feeling that that's maybe where they might go, unless he's just going to be the all-out villain who just spouts really horrible things, which would be really, really good TV, to be honest. It'd be a horrible thing for us to have to listen to, but I'm actually really looking forward to him and Julie, and they are, unbelievably, right at the top of our list in the odds 6-1, the duo which would we think will be the last ones standing. So either he goes down the redemption path or he just becomes a villain that we're all going to absolutely love to hate. So I'm actually really looking forward to that one.
And there's also, I guess, the possibility that he won't say who he is, or people won't know. So maybe this is
Right.
just something the audience will know about him.
Yeah, we get that a lot, don't we? We have, people like Blair from The Facts of Life, and we've had a lot of football players.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so, yeah, so, okay, let's continue. We then have Val and Jeremy, and they're from Massachusetts. He's another firefighter. It's like, wow, we have a lot of firefighters. And what do we have to say about them? They look like they're going to be middle-of-the-road contestants. I can't see them doing too well, but just...
Right. I think they're going to be really likable. And I believe she's a police officer, and I believe she's not going to tell people that she is.
Right.
And Tony last year, the winner, he was a police officer too, wasn't he?
Yeah, and he wasn't telling people either in the beginning until he decided to make that clear, especially to the other Sarah, I think her name was.
Right, the Cops Are Us alliance.
Yeah,
it's all coming back.
That's right. So that's interesting. I'm not sure why people get so frustrated or so excited about not telling other contestants that they're cops. Is that an issue? I don't understand that. But,
I feel like it's an issue that they've made, but I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know. And the same thing's happening on Big Brother. I mean, this guy Derek, who everyone thinks he's going to win, he's an undercover cop, but he's never told anyone it. So maybe there is this cop bias that we don't know about.
Yeah, that's right. We then have Drew and Alec Christie from Florida. They're kind of the young, pretty boy that I don't really see much about them apart from they'll probably do well physically. Have you got anything to tell us about them?
The older brother Drew is going to be someone that you probably hate because he's so cocky and so arrogant.
Yeah.
I always just like people like that. But his younger brother Alex seems to be a little bit more likable, a little bit more humble. And Survivor last time they did Blood versus Water, they had Vetus and Aris, the two brothers that really went at it. So I wonder if these brothers kind of are coming into this as maybe not very close, and this maybe the experience will bring them closer together. I don't know what's going on there, but I'm sure we'll see on the show.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Okay, then we have Kelly and Dale Wentworth. That's a father-daughter team. I've got to tell you, and this is just from my own personal experience, I always love the father-daughter teams because I can relate to that, and I'm really, really looking forward to these two, and I'm hoping they're going to do well, and they don't seem to be really that far up our list, so what do we have to talk about with them?
Well, I love these guys because they're from Washington. That's my home state.
Of course, yeah.
Kelly. Basically, what I learned going through their videos is that they're kind of estranged. They're not, they're not as close as you and your daughter.
Right.
So that'll be a good story to watch them get closer. Of course, they're on opposite teams, and they may not even have a lot of screen time together unless they make it to the merge.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. All right, so we've gone through the list. You've told us who you think is in front at the moment, and I got to say, just from what you're telling me and from just looking at photos and a couple of articles that I've read so far, the Reed looks like someone who is going to do well, especially if he's as nice as what he's been made out to be. Right. I just think the nice guys, although the villains are so fun to watch, like Tony last season, people hated that guy, but I loved him. I couldn't wait to watch Survivor every week because I just wanted to see what he was going to get up to. But I do love the nice ones. The nice ones, we root for them. Remember when we had Stephanie in that, I don't remember what the season was, but we had Stephanie who ended up in a tribe all onto her own.
Yeah,
she was such a lovely, nice person, and I was just rooting for her from the get-go, and she did very well. So that's what I think. So you think, sorry, tell us again, who do you think is going to win at this point in time?
I'm predicting Baylor, and she's the daughter of Missy.
Right.
And by the way, do you still have the chart up for the rankings? I want to know who who voted out first.
Yeah, so they have one of the twins, Natalie Anderson, and then secondly they have Dale. So Dale and Natalie are both on 7-1 odds to come out first, so that's interesting. And then Val Collins.
I hope Dale makes it pretty far. I mean, the show's so much harder on the older people because usually the cast is made up of a bunch of 20-somethings, and then you have like one 50-year-old, and the 50-year-old is usually voted out first. So I'm rooting for Dale to make it pretty far.
Yeah, okay. Well, let's talk more about the season itself. So it's in Nicaragua, and do we know anything about the particular themes of the show, or is it really just going to focus on the blood versus water?
So based on what I've read, it's not going to be a spoiler or anything, but they're not doing Redemption Island this time like they did the last Blood and Water. Instead, they're doing Exile Island, and I'm not sure how that's going to work out because in past seasons, for example, at the reward challenge, the winning tribe of the reward would pick one person from the losing tribe to go to Exile Island, where they have to be there on their own overnight. And that's kind of a lose-win, the win being that there's always a clue to the hidden immunity idol there. So I'm not sure how they're going to play that this year. I think they might have some kind of a duel between, family members are going to be dueling, and the loser will go to Exile Island. But I don't know how they pick the duel, so that'll be something we'll have to watch.
Yeah. Okay. And any other tidbits before we sign off for today? Because we have a lot to look forward to, but really, we really just need to watch next week, the premiere. And we're all really on the edge of our seats for this new season of Survivor. We've got high expectations. Is there anything in particular that you are looking forward to, or that we can look forward to next week?
I think what people are most going to be looking at is the weather conditions right now in Nicaragua, because I think the last time they were there, they couldn't get in the water at all because the water was too choppy. I think this year might be the same thing. So there was a great interview with Jeff Probst with Dolphin Ross, where Jeff Probst actually showed him a challenge in the water that they won't be able to use anymore because the weather just got so bad.
Wow.
So this might be a really, really tumultuous season as far as the weather conditions are concerned.
Okay. Well, look, I'm on the edge of my seat. Fingers crossed that the editors and the writers of the show, we always seem to forget that this show is as good as it is because of the writers and the editors of the show. I hope they're on their game because I'm sure they've cast it well. They always do. And we just now have a whole season of Survivor to look forward to. How exciting.
And Jeff Probst, 4-time
Good old
winner,
Jeff.
Back again. It's 29th season. Do you think Jeff is going to do this forever, or do you think there's going to be a time when he says, "I'm going to leave the show in someone else's hand"?
I had a thought that he might, because he had his own show for a bit, which then got cancelled. I thought he was trying to segue off into other things, but that didn't work because, damn it, America demands that he just remain on this show forever. It will not be the same without him. He really does bring it together. He's the best host. He deserved all those Emmys. He should still be nominated. There is no one as good as Jeff Probst.
Exactly. All right, guys. Survivor San Juan del Sur in America, it airs Wednesday at 8. And you were talking about the Australia timeline is a little bit different.
Yeah, and in Australia, it airs at on Thursday nights at 8:30 p.m. on Go.
All right, guys.